Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. This is Unfiltered New here, and this video is a small sneak peek into the next full video to be released in 2 weeks, inshallah, titled Usri Yusra. So, this small sneak peek is going to be in a different format than what you've been hearing. It's just going to be two poems that I'm going to include in that, as opposed to just one poem which I used to usually include in my lectures till now, in my bayan till now. So let's start without any further ado on the sneak peek. The first poem I would like to read is called Diya and Noor, which in English means illumination of light. Diya and Noor. Have you lived a burnt life? Fires that one after another guffawed. بعد العسر عسرا أخرى. A firefighter fighting fire, forever, coming from above, below, before, and from the rear. Then heed these advices fair, plain for the sufferers to see, and coming with a muhaymin and seal. I have lived this life, madam and sire, but I must be a hopeful being. In suffering, mercy do I feel. See, hear, and breathe, though prior I had no clue, nor was opened any a route. Was sparring until sight, with a bright, brilliant flash made right. All that I felt was wrong and bad, because I have believed. But what does all this mean? How can a blind sufferer see through fire what is hidden from him? Burning bright, a future he could not foresee, could not fathom, suddenly will appear guaranteed. The stuff of legend, desires by man unseen, or more local fare, but good. In a line, Innamal Usri Yusra, Adiya and Noor. So this is the first poem. It is about a person who might be on the verge of breaking down, on the verge of feeling in despair because of the trials that he's facing. Suppose he is living a burnt life, I asked in the first line, and it means that one after another, he's only having a fire type calamities that seems to almost burn away his flesh, that seems to almost burn away his hands, as though his hands are covered with ash. He's carrying ash in his hands. So what if this guy, he's about to give up, he's completely defeated. So he says, بعد العسر عسرا أخرى. After every difficulty, another difficulty. So he's like a firefighter, forever fighting fire, coming from above, below, before, and from the rear. So it's coming from everywhere. Sometimes it comes from above. Like for example, no rain comes for his farm, for example. So then it is coming from above, a test. Okay, what about it is coming from below? All the crops that he had, continuing the simile, the metaphor, all the crops that he had grown with much difficulty in his farm that year, it got locusts and it got destroyed. So then that is below, a test from below. So what about from the rear? From the rear is, suppose a wind came from the back, a tornado came from the back and destroyed his house. Okay, so that is from the rear. And what about from before you? So suppose a man came and then he started fighting with him about his land and property and said, this is my land, give it to me. And so he came before him and he started fighting and shouting in his face. So that is a calamity from before him. So all these came to one man alone. Then how can he bear it? He's like almost giving up. So then heed these advices fair, plain for the sufferers to see, and coming with a muhaymin and seal. Now what does muhaymin and seal mean? The Quran and Sunnah is what we should follow as Muslims, as I said in my last video. And so the muhaymin and seal means it is from the Quran and Sunnah. Why the word muhaymin? Because the Quran says the Quran is muhaymin over the scriptures that came before it, trustworthy in highness over the scriptures that came before it. Okay, so what does the second paragraph say? I have lived this life, madam and sire. So I make a personal, that is to say, a personal confession that I have lived such a life where calamities befell me one after another. But I must be a hopeful being, I say. So that means I have not given up. I did not give up just because suffering came. Suffering is a seed that grows and Allah is the planter. It's not punishment. It is not meaningless pain that just came down upon the universe from that an atheist believes just comes out of nowhere. No, God has a plan for all of us. It is a suffering is a seed that grows the soul, and Allah is the planter. It grows our rank in Jannah. It grows our rewards. It grows a lot of things. Like a planter, he's planting a seed, and he's happy when it matures and becomes a harvest to be reaped and to be benefit. So that is how we should see suffering. It's a seed that grows the soul, and Allah is the planter. Okay, so in suffering, mercy do I feel, see, hear and read. So I found mercy left, right and center. Everywhere I looked, I felt that I saw some mercy or the other. But this is, when did I see it? Not before I got some guidance from Allah. Not before I got some guidance. Before that, I had no clue, nor did it open any route for me. So that's why I say, see, hear and read, though prior I had no clue, nor was opened any route. Was sparring until sight, with a brilliant flash made right, all that I felt was wrong and bad. So this is basically what I just said. I'm repeating it in poetic form. And you should not fight with the dunya, you should not fight with Allah, you should not fight with your decrees. You should rather accept it in good in a good cheery way, in as much as you can a cheery way, and you should take it in stride, and you should try to be patient, and you should try to be happy that Allah is testing you, because He sees potential in you. He sees potential in you means you are made for perhaps better than others. But if you force yourself to behave badly, if you force yourself to fail the test, then perhaps you will lose the test and lose all that great hope that Allah had of you, all that responsibility that He wanted to give you, all that reward and rank that He wanted to give you. You are just throwing it away, aren't you? So please don't do that, oh brothers and sisters. Rather use the opportunity of trials to better your deen, to make yourself better than you were before. So all that I felt was wrong and bad is okay. It's okay. It's not bad actually. It's actually good for me because I believed. What is the criteria for this to happen, that all the decrees are good for us? The criteria, according to that hadith which we learned in the first video, it is that we have to believe. Okay, now what's the last paragraph say? But what does all this mean? How can a blind sufferer see through fire? So when you're suffering, it's very hard to hear advice from people coming and saying, brother, if this suffering that you're feeling, it's not bad for you, it's good for you. You feel like laughing at them, or you feel like shouting at them, or giving them a slap. But actually, brother, they're trying to tell you something you may not understand now. What did I say in the next line? What is hidden from them? What is hidden from him? There is something burning bright, a bright future. Don't commit suicide. Don't give up hope. Don't say that God is not there. Don't throw away Him and His apostle. Don't throw away His prophet. Don't throw away the good people who are trying to advise you. Rather, think about this. You cannot see what the future. You don't know the future, but Allah is light years ahead of you in knowledge. He's all-knowing, all-wise. He's al-Latif al-Khabir. He's well acquainted with all He created. He's all aware. So He might have kept a very bright future for you even in this world. It's not that I'm saying it's about heaven or a great rank in Jannah, even though that is true. But even in this world, brothers and sisters, He might have kept a great future for the sufferers. They just have to wait it out. Okay? So what is hidden from Him? Burning bright. A future He could not foresee, could not fathom, suddenly will appear, guaranteed. The stuff of legend, desires by man unseen, or more local fare. So if it's not that Jannah and high rank, even though that's true, if you cannot be happy with just that, which is a great achievement in and of itself, then be happy that even here, more local fare, you will get it as well, which is good, because Allah, Muhammad recommended us to say this dua: Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Oh Allah, grant us what is good in this world and what is good in the hereafter, and save us from the torment of the fire. So in one line, the Quran concludes all that I said in just one line, and in about 4 words, I believe, and that statement is, Inna ma'al usri yusra. Indeed, after every difficulty, there is ease. And so one line can be reduced or expanded into great books, and that is the beauty of the Quran. So basically what I conclude this poem is that this line in Namal Usri Yusra, it is a diya and nur. It is an illumination of light for us to walk in life. There are many paths open for us, and this is one of the paths for the sufferers to take, that they can take happiness, they can take comfort in the fact that after every difficulty there will guaranteed be ease, brothers. And that is the conclusion of that poem. Now let's go to the second poem. The second poem is also related to this poem, and that is Dua and Achievement. Okay, let us start. Dua and Achievement. Now make not loud lamentation, God admonishes to the population who make hell their dwelling place. And what use is raising hands to the vastness and making loud invocation? Asks a hadith, if your food is from prohibition, your clothes, your earnings too. If you want answered your prayers, do the faraid, your obligatory duties. From the prohibitions, abstain. For the believing, as God informed his apostle, God is neither uncomprehending nor hard of hearing, all sufficient for his creatures' desires, the all-knowing. If he delays, it is his planning. If you achieve your aim, O mu'min, be of the thanksgiving, be of those who are who are givers of thanks. Be of the thanksgiving. It was not of your own making, but divine decree and a blessing. But whoso obeys Allah and his apostle, he has indeed achieved a great achievement. فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. Dua and achievement. So basically in this, I speak about two groups of people who make loud invocation to God. One group of people make loud invocation to God in a place and during a time when those invocations will be of no benefit for them. So who are these people? There are two times when invocation and lamentation and prayer and dua and supplication will be of no benefit. One is when they are in hellfire. Then they have already lost the chance to do good. Then Allah will close the door on them forever at that time. So those people, God says in the book, now make not loud lamentation. So and then the next line I say, God admonishes to the population who make hell their dwelling place. And what use is raising hands to the vastness and making loud invocation? Asks a hadith, if your food is from prohibition, your clothes, your earnings too. So here is the second group of people for whom loud invocation or loud raising of voice and asking of prayer will not benefit. Who? The people who eat haram food. The people who don't care, why should I eat halal food? It's too hard in my town. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. I'll eat pig also. I'll eat non-halal chicken also, broiler chicken which is not halal, from anywhere and everywhere, any restaurant I please without making any research whatsoever. Like this also you can see many people. So these people, their food is from prohibition, from haram, and their clothes and their earnings are haram. What does that mean? How can clothes be haram? How do you sacrifice a cloth or what? No, that's not what he means in the hadith. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, your clothes and your earnings are haram if you take it from riba. And you know how everywhere there is interest in the world. So these people, they are taking their food as haram, they are taking their clothes as haram, they are taking their earnings as haram, and then suddenly a calamity strikes them, and then they raise their hands up in the sky. Oh, I lost all this wealth, 2 crores loss, 10 million loss, around 500 million loss in my bank account. Oh my God, what should I do? Loud invocation. It's not going to help them. So these two groups of people, dua or loud invocation or duas or supplication or prayers are not going to be answered for them. Alright, so now for the believer, what does Allah say for the believer? For the believing, as God informed his apostle, God is neither uncomprehending nor hard of hearing. Now this is a very interesting thing which happened to the Sahabas once, whereby they were going up a mountain for some cause, I don't remember what cause, and they were making loud invocation. They were making loud invocation and saying the same thing over and over. Oh Allah, give us this. Oh Allah, give us this. Oh Allah, give us this. And so Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came up to them and informed them that God is neither uncomprehending nor hard of hearing. You don't have to say it loud, brothers. Say it in a medium voice. That's enough. And then you don't need to repeat it hundreds of times. Your du'as, your askings, Allah heard you the first time. You know what I mean? So Allah heard you the first time. Okay, so Allah is also sufficient for His creatures' desires, the all-knowing. If He delays, it is His planning. If you achieve your aim, O mu'min, what does mu'min mean? A believer. Be of the thanksgiving. So if you achieve your aim, be of the thanksgiving. If He delays, it is His planning. So then be patient. No problem. It's His planning. He planned for you. You should be more happy, as the Salaf said. Salaf said, if I got what I wanted, I was happy once. But if I didn't get what I wanted, I was happy twice, because Allah made a decision for me. So you see, that is His planning. He made it so that you didn't get it. So it might be for some good. It is His planning. His Latif al-Khabir is planning for you. The well acquainted with all things, the all aware. He is planning for you. So be of the thanksgiving, if you get your aim, and do not exult around in the land when you get your aim and say that I did it. No, do not say it like that. It was not of your own making, but divine decree and a blessing. So in the end, I conclude with a Quranic verse, وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا, which translated, the interpretation of the meaning is, but whoso obeys Allah and His Apostle, he has indeed achieved a great achievement. So basically, these two poems, alhamdulillah, I have completed the meanings also of it in this short sneak peek. In a later video, I will give you proper references from the hadith, where I took these hadiths from, their numbers and everything, and I will make a proper video of it within 2 weeks, and I will upload it. Alright, Jazakumullah khairan for listening. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And in the end, all praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of the worlds.